Let's make it take free time. There we go. Hello everyone, this is Arafellin bringing you an indie Atari game. So there was this magazine called Atari Antics, and one of the things they had was people could, submit their own things they created. You could get them in the magazine, type in the programs yourself, and play them. Or I think if you had the subscription, you could get diskettes with them already on them. So this is Creepy Caverns, created by Anthony Ramos. I believe he was 16 at the time he coded this. And this is a dungeon crawling game that features random generation. That's what's going on here with that interesting noise in the background. It is randomly generating the layout of the dungeon. Here we have our little guy. He runs around. Now you're in this dungeon. You're dodging monsters, collecting gems and bags of gold for points. But your ultimate goal is there is a creature in here called the Megawump. You're trying to destroy the Megawump and save the people or whatever from its tyranny. It's not much of a story. It doesn't need to be. As I mentioned, randomly generated layouts. The palette of each room is also randomly selected, so you get some interesting variety. At first you have no defenses against the monsters except just avoiding them. They will kind of home towards you when you get near them. And there's even some interesting music going on. Again, music and sound effects, not something you can necessarily take for granted. Sound effects, pretty standard for Atari. Music, somewhat less so. You have a nice dark room here, kind of hard to see. Curious how well that will turn out on YouTube when everything's processed. But some of the rooms do have special items in there. I collected an amulet in one room. There's some quivers of arrows. Arrows are how you defend yourself. Let's see if I can get this one. Another thing you may notice if you're watching closely is that the positioning of the items within a room will change every time you go into the room. That's an interesting feature of the game. I actually went through and figured out how the code was working at one time, and one of the things it does is it knows what's in each room, but not specifically where in the room it is. So things are randomly placed as you enter the room each time you enter the room. If there are more things, it takes a little longer. I'll use the keyboard to switch over to... Okay, so use the keyboard arrow keys to change the active item. I believe these are the smart arrows. So I'll press the direction. No, these must be the dumb arrows. Okay, so dumb arrows fly in a straight line, and if they hit something, good. If they don't, you just wasted an arrow. The dungeon has an overall 6x6 layout of rooms. The top two rows have snakes, which have fairly low detection radius. You need to be pretty close to them before they start chasing you. The middle two rows have trolls, which are a little smarter, more aggressive, and the bottom two rows have... I'm not sure if they're supposed to be like ghosts or hydras or what exactly, but they can detect you from pretty much clear across the screen. So, wandering around here, I'm going to try and get some smart arrows somewhere to demonstrate those. The amulet protects you against the Megawump's lightning attack. You pretty much need that if you want to actually finish the game. I don't know if it's a hard requirement, it probably is. As I said, I'm trying to find some smart arrows so I can demonstrate those and actually kill something. Although the dumb arrows can do a decent job of something's chasing. Wait. Oh, there's a 5 there. I do have smart arrows. You just take out these two. If you're going to shoot monsters, these things are probably the best to shoot. Oh, there we go. You notice that when monsters is destroyed, things start moving faster. Same concept as Space Invaders, where the less there is on the screen, the faster they go, and whether or not it's deliberate is kind of hard to tell. I managed to dodge that. Okay, my smart arrows are not being very smart. Maybe I have a slightly glitched version of the game, or maybe that's just something they do. Not sure. Anyway, the monsters can overlap each other. They can also walk over things that are on the ground. Most of the ground items are actually not sprites, but background tiles. So when the monster steps onto it and then stops off of it, it's replaced with a blank tile, and the item is basically eaten. However, since the game does remember how many things are in each room, if you leave the room and come back, then it's replaced in a random location, just as usual. Let's try playing a little more, see if I can get to the key in the chest. So as I mentioned, the point of the game is to find and kill the Megawump. There's some smart arrows. Yeah, why are my arrows not working? So, there's a key that you can use to unlock a chest. You find the chest and open it, you get a sword. You need the sword to kill the Megawump after stunning it with some dumb arrows. Smart arrows do not work on the Megawump at all. I think what happens is, as far as the game logic is concerned, there are no monsters in the room. So it kind of defaults to the monster being in a top corner somewhere, and the arrows will home in on that. Which, since the Megawump will not be in the corner, won't hit it. Anyway. I was hoping to show off the Megawump and all that, so it's having trouble making any progress. So I may just fast forward and try to see if something happens. Okay, here's the chest. I'll try again to get my arrows to work. Nope. What is wrong with these things? Maybe those are the dumb arrows after all, and they're just... No, those are dumb arrows. I'll just use a dumb arrow to take one out then. And get the other to follow me, so it... There we go. Okay, switch to the key. And now we have a sword. For some reason, you cannot use the sword on normal enemies. It only works on the Megawump. You'll notice that with no monsters in the room, things are moving much more quickly. Again, Space Invaders style logic, where the less there is, the quicker things move, because it's processing less. And that was dumb. Is that your last life, or...? Okay, the 0 counts. So the way the level generation works is, again, it's a 6x6 grid of rooms. It starts out, everything is connected, but then the random generation just starts randomly removing connectors a certain number of times. It can generate unconnected layouts that give you unwinnable games. Come on. There's one arrow. Protect against the lightning because of the amulet. 2 arrows. And it got me. Does a little dance. That's actually a side effect of how the processing works, because when it is playing a tone, it's not doing any other processing, so as soon as it stops playing that, the monster animates, and it gives it the impression that it's dancing in time with the music. I don't know if that's deliberate, or if it just happened to happen that way, but I always thought that was neat. In any case, I kind of would have liked to win, but it didn't happen. This has been Arafelon playing Creepy Caverns for the Atari 8-bit. Again, it's a neat little game that was developed by some random 16-year-old. And was published in a magazine, and don't know that it became famous exactly, but it's well-known enough. Some people have actually made enhanced versions of it. There are some with some digitized speech, which is kind of amazing. There are versions where they have stuff like the amulet will give you a map. These are not things that were in the original game. These have been added over the years by fans of the game. In any case, come back next time for another game that has random dungeon generation and a number of other neat features. I'll see you then.